Hello, this is Ebru Shnapkova. I'm the leader at Prague Training Academy. As you know, this week at Academy, we are discussing the reinvented leadership. Today, I have a very special guest, Lea Palomba. She is COO at IL3X, and she is a real Agile transformation expert. Today, Lea will take us through the process of Agile and how leaders, us, can support the transformation in the organizations. Let me welcome Lea and invite her to the stage.
Hello everyone, here is Lea. Give me a second, I'm just going to share my screen in a minute so we can talk about the same thing. Beautiful. We're going to be talking together about how leaders can support the Agile transformation. This is a topic that is very dear to my heart. I've been working in a range of companies, so between eBay and Monster, over the past 15 years, and now I'm working in the startup and scale-ups, always in the technical industry. My field of expertise is within marketing, communication, operations, but along with that, I'm very passionate about the Agile methodology, rolling it out across teams, and in particularly Agile leadership. So, the Agile approach is actually come from IT software development. The team was looking for something that would allow to shift perception. So in the traditional waterfall methodology, what is happening is that the development team would collect all the requirements, roll along planning, work very secured, very separated from everything else for a long period of time until they have a final product to deliver. When instead what Agile does is that it breaks down the work to give you many smaller deliveries so that you can show something to the customer. It's not one just final completed machine, but it's progress. And because it's progress, there are a few things that come up that happen with that, is that it's a progress that is vetted and that has already received feedback. So there is a different effort that is coming out on the team. And along with that, it comes with a different approach to work. So instead of having to work for a long period of time and maybe like risk as well, exhaustion, on a project that is very long, you work always on the same project, but you focus the work in 3-week sprints. So in shorter events. And this allows us to have as well a different focus. So it comes with a set of other activities, such as ceremonies that I'm going to tell you about in a second. But what I really care about is about the fact that this approach is a very sound approach that can be rolled out as well to other departments, such as marketing. In my previous experience in the marketing departments of large organizations, what is happening is that we're spending a lot of time into ensuring that the content that we're delivering to the customers is reflecting of their needs and what they're interested about. And to make this happen, it's not possible to do it unless you do a lot of testing. And you need to do a lot of testing, a lot of iterations. You need to confirm many times if your assumptions were correct. And sometimes you also need to go challenge your assumptions or the things that you learned so that you can understand what has happened in the meantime. And to make this, the Agile methodology is actually very powerful because it brings data into and analytics into a process that has to be data-driven when you're working with large organizations and large data set. And it allows you to have a lot of tests, to evaluate the results, and to iterate rapidly, which I can't pronounce. So I'm very happy that it's written. What is happening is that an Agile team that is like functioning, that is doing well, can really scale the test and learn function. Hence bringing a lot of new knowledge to everyone else within the company and in general to the industry about how we like to do things. And I've been talking as well about the Agile ceremonies. This is probably one of my favorite parts. First of all, I very often forget one, but besides forgetting one, it's very reasonable. it's a very reasonable approach to work. And I find that having this logic about you have a backlog, you have a sprint planning, you have a daily scrum. So a moment in the morning when you're meeting and you're discussing about what are you going to be doing today, what have you done yesterday, what you're going to be doing tomorrow. You do a sprint review and a sprint retrospective. I still find it very reasonable, and I almost find it therapeutic for the team. So because it's so often, it actually really gives you the chance to work on something and work on progress and make some shift that is going to make the team better, not only in the deliverables, but as well as report and how quickly they can deliver and more independent. But I also find this one to be like hilariously close to something that is very close to me. I was raised in Italy. In Italy, what is happening is that around 1:30 you get home. When you get home, you have a meal with your siblings or your parents. And the topics around that are always the same ones. It's always, what have you done at school? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And this is so ridiculously similar to what a daily scrum looks like, because a daily scrum includes exactly the same questions. So I do find it a very logic way of doing things, but at the same time, something that is very caring. So let's get more into the Agile. In Agile, we have 4 core values. You will see that you give more value to individuals' interaction. You give values to working software. You give values to customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and you give value to responding to change over following a plan. And the reason why I wanted to call this out is because for those of us that are involved in leadership, all these elements are going to be very close to what we do on the day-to-day. We prize the report over individual, over maybe the process that we have received from a department or another. We prize having deliverables over sometimes doing down to the last email or having your inbox 0. We prize have the customer collaboration over the contract, but actually we do need the contract. So it doesn't mean that you're dropping one thing or another, but that you are bringing agile, more flexible, more able to respond approach to things. But where you have to choose between the two, you also give value to the first one. And what is this? Is that I think many of us that are working in management and leadership, we do know that there is a difference. So when you're working in management, well, it's more, I think, about common knowledge. But when you're working in management, you are accountable on behalf of the company of the time and task that are assigned to you. And the team that you work with is helping you achieve that. So you distribute the task in a way that you hope is going to be even, so that the team we can proceed and we can deliver for the organization. When you are in leadership, it's a lot about inspiring. It's a lot about making the team independent. It's allowed to build in the next generation of company leaders. It's more about almost a lot about culture in a sense. And this is why Agile leadership is something that is very close to me, but is as well because the last 2 years, I think they have shown that responding to change is vital to keep a team and an organization running, and is even more vital when we're talking about how we're going to have the teams move forward and be able to adapt to change. So, as I was saying, Agile leadership is not an all or nothing. It's not either the word is Agile or the word is not Agile. But the Agile leader needs to be able to move into a complexity that is happening within the organization. So, for example, and we're going to be talking about it later as well, you might have the need to showcase to your own leaders something in a very traditional way. But at the same time, you need to foster the content. So there is a very flexible mindset that is required out of the leader, that it's not an all or nothing, but it's as well not everyday or easy to understand duality. It's not about coherence, it's about being agile in everything. And the Agile leadership comes with a set of principles. So Agile loves principles. As you have seen, we have 4 before, we have a manifesto with other 12, and we have 9 that are set for leadership. So actions speak louder than words. The first one is about the fact that an agile leader is someone that, first of all, is doing a lot of personal self-development. So you're always asking yourself how you can do things better, but you're also an ambassador for everything that is agile. So you work on your hard and your soft skills to make sure that you are able to lead by example. The improved quality of thinking leads to improved outcomes. This part is about giving the time to yourself and to the teams to think about what you're doing. So gather all the information that you're going to need, not too many because otherwise you're going to delay the decision-making process, but give yourself the chance to have a high quality thinking at every step of it. So don't just take the things that you've heard at the very beginning, but really take the chance to deep down. And actually, one of the ways how you do it is getting very, very close to the flow. So very, very close to the people that do the work day to day. And you will see it in some of the other principles as well. This is repeated very often. Organizations improve to effective feedback. So this is both about giving and receiving feedback, but more than everything is about closing the circle on the feedback. So we do ask for feedback if we are so blessed to receive it. So I always say thank you very much to everyone that is giving us feedback because you're helping us get better. It's as well about onboarding it. So taking an action on the feedback that you have received and making sure that you are responding to it. You show that the feedback has not like just gone through the wind, but if you need to explain something and onboard what you can onboard, like close the circle on the feedback. People require meaning and pursue to make work fulfilling. There is a vision that very often is shared with leaders that is not always cascaded to the teams. And the teams need to understand what is happening while we're doing things. And if we don't do that, it becomes very difficult for them to understand the vision and the purpose. So to get the most out of the team and to get the most out of their ability to bring ideas and to be creative and to feel empowered, we need to be able to share sometimes the right amount of information, but for sure we need to be able to share. Emotion is a foundation of enhanced creativity and innovation. We are very often hoping to see the team come up with creative ideas and innovative ideas. Also because creativity is not something that comes only from one person, it actually comes from everyone. So there might be someone that has a fantastic experience from a completely different industry who can bring incredible ideas that no one has been listening about before. And this is something that we need to do together with giving the input about where we're doing things, because vision brings emotion, and emotion is going to help fill the commitment and expand as well the creative and innovative range. We say as well that leadership lives everywhere within the organization. We expect Agile to perm all aspects of the organization, but we also expect to allow for the team, actually more than allow, create the conditions for the team to display their leadership. And this one is connected to the next one. So leaders devolve appropriate power and authority, give the chance to build the next generation of other leadership. Because if we don't take this step, it's going to become very difficult for the teams to live a long and healthy life. But as well, what we know today as leaders is not the best knowledge that is available out there. Of course, as we expect this approach to be an iterative, improving approach over time, we also know that the next level of leadership is probably going to be much better than what we are today. So let's go out and find them, and we need to support them as we can. The next one is about collaborative communities achieve much more than individuals, and there is no doubt about that. Communities that have high trust, they are respected between each other, they can build a meaningful work relationship, they are going to be doing much better. And I think we all have the chance to see that on a day-to-day. We have great ideas, can come from anywhere within the organization. I run the risk of repeating myself here, but as well, if you are within a team and you have great ideas, or if you see that others have great ideas, make sure that you are fostering them. Make sure that you are feeding those ideas with something else. Sometimes you hear an idea that is fantastic, but it cannot be achieved, or it cannot be done at the present time. Anything could be, like, not, we don't have to follow ideas, but we can recognize them or welcome them, and make sure that we are opening the doors to a next round of great ideas to come through. So this is something that is very important when we're talking to the team and when we're giving them the chance to become an agile leader and show them what the agile leadership means and how impactful it can be for the overall organization and for the next generation of leaders' career, because that one is something that we can't avoid. Now, I'm not sure about how much time do I have left, but I want to cover a couple of things. We know that managers and leaders, they also have stakeholders. So we work at 360 degrees. So we work upwards, sideways, downwards, but actually it's more upwards, that one as well. But we work at 360 degrees and we need to manage the rapport that we're building. One of the big deliverables and big benefits that we can bring to the team is as well about making their work visible. So be able to tell the story of the success of our teams and how good they're doing, how much progress they've made, how reliable they are. And we need to find the right way of showing that, which is not so easy to do. It's very easy, I think, for an organization to apply a very old approach where we just say, oh yeah, the only metric that matters is click-through rate. Or the only metric that matters is this other metric that is actually a vanity metric. It's not something that is meaningful for the business, but it's something that is going to make us feel good, feel empowered. But it doesn't have to be the right metric. We need to make sure that we're selecting the right one. And the problem behind it is that KPIs, they are decision-making tools. So we cannot allow for a retrospective to go without numbers in the same way as we cannot allow for a manager to just ask their leadership or a leader to just start their own leadership to simply trust the work that is being done, because it would not be doing our job correctly. We needed to bring the numbers or something that looks like a number, something that can be giving us a direction or a comparison over time. So what we need is to find the right way of doing it. So here we have a few ones that can be valuable for a business, or that I hope is going to be food for thought. We have value. Are we meeting the customer needs? What we're doing, is it something that our customers want? And this is very important that we do it at the right time. So it actually has to be defined before we do the rest of it. Is predictability. So are we consistently planning and delivering? Is the Agile team working in a way where it's predictable what they're doing? Productivity. Are we getting more done with the resources that we have? And this one is important because the Agile team is going to get better at delivering and faster at delivering as the time goes by. So we want to get more time done with the same, more work done with the same amount of resources. And this is a sign as well of a healthy Agile team that is cooperating as is expected to. Quality, so this is a metric about lack of defects. Stability, so the organization can maintain this pace over time. Can we keep delivering this a certain amount of contents over extensive period of time, or are we stretching too much, or are we stretching too little? And growth, so is the organization that we're in growing and learning? And I think we can all agree that once that these key levers are working, we will be able to track the success of anything else. We can think about them as a cycle time, we can think of defect rate, planned versus done actual ratio. It can be about stability and about churn and the turnover rates. But such data are going to be very useful, not only for the Agile team, so to use on the day-to-day, but as well for the organization. And with this part about metrics and numbers, that I know is always a question because not everyone loves numbers, but we do have to share them. I want to thank you for your time today, and of course open the doors as well for further conversation if you would like to connect on LinkedIn. I think that this week is a fantastic opportunity to learn from each other. And as always, if you want to give me feedback, please do so, because it's going to make me a better leader. Thank you.